All right. So the first question that we have here is a product manager the same as a product owner and or Scrum Master? Okay, these two they're not the same, first of all. Product owner and the Scrum Master are completely two different things. Every team needs a product owner and a Scrum Master. A Scrum Master will be reporting to a delivery lead, while a product owner will be reporting to a product manager. Okay, so again, is a product manager the same as a product owner? No. A product owner usually will go escalate to his product manager, while a Scrum Master, he goes and escalate to his delivery lead or a program manager or a project manager. So you want to think about it this way. There is product and there is delivery. The Scrum Master is part of the delivery team, while the product owner is part of the product team. Any questions on this card? So when a product owner has a problem, he will go ahead and escalate that problem to his product manager. When a Scrum Master has a problem, he will go escalate to whoever is higher than him in the company, in his area, in the delivery area.
Mohammed, I can steal the screen for 1 second as well.
Hi.
Just to give a visual representation.
No,
Somebody was asking a question.
Yeah, this is Pooja here. So, as you said that in the product owner and product Scrum Master should be in the Agile method and product manager is in the waterfall method?
No. So think about it this way. Are you seeing an Excel sheet?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the Scrum Master. Here's the product owner. Here are the developers. And here are the testers. Okay. Think about it this way. They're kind of all the same level. Okay. Scrum Master helps the team to facilitate all the meetings. PO owns the backlog and ensures that there's a priority and it is in a priority order and gives direction to the team. What is the next highest priority? Developers execute the work. Testers test the work before it goes back to the product owner and approves it. Any questions on this level before we jump a level higher? Okay. A level higher is the Scrum Master will report to a delivery lead or a delivery manager. The PO will report to a product manager. Developer will report to a development manager, and the tester will report to a testing manager. Okay, and it goes so forth. The product owner will report to a director of product, VP of product, SVP of product, and then his CEO for all of them. Okay. So think about it this way. Everybody reports to different managers. Why do they come to the Scrum Master? They come to the Scrum Master because his or her role is to help the team, but also they come out of respect because this person is not actual direct manager, but their role is to make sure that everybody here moves. So it's a very unique relationship. That's why I say the Scrum methodology has made, I would say, this level kind of like look at each other as a team, and everybody looks back to the Scrum Master if they need any help as well. So the Scrum Master is not the manager of anybody in the team, but he or she is the leader of the team to make sure that they're moving forward. All the job of the Scrum Master is to make sure that these three elements are moving forward smoothly and they are developing value at the end of every sprint. I'm going to pause here and ask Pooja, do you have any questions on this? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. Sounds lovely. Let's go back to the next question.
Okay, hello. Are you there?
Yeah, go for it.
So now, according to the Scrum guy, right? They are saying that this is just a question. According to the Scrum guy, he said in a Scrum team there are over 10. The Scrum team consists of over 10 people. So now the Scrum Master 1, the product owner 2, developers. So now, who constitutes the remaining? Is it like just the management, or I just want to know like the hierarchical
management? It is actually, it comes to, sometimes it's the level of the directors. They're working together to make the composition of the team. Sometimes even it's a composition between the delivery management, the product management, and the engineering manager. They come together in a room. The engineering manager will elect that team 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, so forth until 10. These are the list of developers. And then the testing managers will add the testers to the team. And then the delivery manager will assign Scrum Masters. So it's a collaboration between the management to come up with the composition of the team. There's always a saying that says the best teams are the teams that you can feed them 2 pizzas and they should be good. So between 10, 9, 11, 13 max, this is the composition of the team. And I want you to think about it. Developers are usually 2 to 1. So if you have 4 developers, you get 2 testers and you have a PO. So think about it this way. To me, a perfect team is 1 Scrum Master, 1 PO, 5 developers, 2 testers or 3 testers. One of them is the testers is 2 manual testing and 1 is automation tester, or 2 automation testers at the end. And Mohammed, I'm really sorry, I'm going to steal it, but I have the idea boards ready as well, so I'm not going to be a person to ask you again. So think about it this way. This is the composition of the team again. 1 Scrum Master, 1 PO, 6 developers, for example, 2 testers. 1 of them is a manual, 1 of them is automation. Sorry, 2 manual, automation. Any question on this? I would say there's a piece as well where you could have a BA here, a business analyst. The role of the BA is to pretty much help the PO mainly to write stories and help them with the existing business state. So pretty much all what you need is an SM, PO, devs, and testing. And I would say usually it's a 2 to 1 here. That's the key. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, let me share. I can pick the next question as well, if I find it.
Well, I have it up. So the next question is story.
Share the screen as well, please.
Yeah. Is story walk through same as grooming? So this is not work, it's walk through. And yes, it is. And there is another name for it. It's called refinement session. So some companies call it story walkthrough, some companies call it grooming, some companies call it refinement.
Some companies will call it even estimation. So it's mainly a session that the team looks ahead and size the work and get to ask the product owner questions, because we don't want questions while we are in the sprint. We want questions before the sprint, so we're late, I would say, paving the way for the future sprint.
Any questions on this one before we move on?
No.
I'm sorry, did somebody say yes or no?
No, I said no.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's move on. Next one we have, what is the difference or similarities between acceptance criteria and definition of done? That's a good question. It's actually, I would say it's the same thing. Basically, the idea of definition of done is when do we as a team say that this story is done and we throw it behind our back and we never look at it again. That's basically what we're looking for. So to me, as a Scrum Master, a story is done once it goes through development, it goes through in review, another developer reviews that work, okay? It goes through QA, and if it requires automation, it goes through QE, and then it gets PO approved. Once a story gets PO approved, like the PO actually reviews that story and says, this is exactly what I was looking for, we throw that story behind our back and we never look at it again. That's when we meet the definition of done, okay? In order to meet the definition of done, you need to identify the acceptance criteria in the story, and the definition of done needs to meet that acceptance criteria. Okay? So acceptance criteria is what do we need, what are the steps that we need to test for in order for us to call this story is done. Once those are done, then we have met the definition of done and we can throw the story to done.
I can steal the screen again just to show a representation of the life cycle of a story. Story will move from into do, into progress, which is in sometimes I call it in dev as well, in development. Now it goes to code review, which means that somebody else needs to review any person's code before it goes to QA, because you don't want the person to, this is a rule in development. You can't promote your code to a higher environment before somebody else looks at it, because you could put a code that actually steals from the company, or you could put a code that actually gives a door for hackers to enter. So a code review is a must, another eye to look at the development work. Some companies, they would have extensive code review, which means that you cannot move to QA before 3 people gives you approval. Some companies, they give you 1 code review. So it depends on the company. To do in development goes to code review, and then it goes to QA, which is testing, and then it goes to ready for demo, which means that it's waiting for the PO to look at it and then to move it to done, pretty much. Any questions? So while we're here, I'd like to actually, since we're here, I'd like to open this as well, which is we do something called the team norming exercise or team agreement. That's something that we do. If you get asked in an interview, what are you going to do if you join the team, whether it's new or just existing team as well. When you add new team members or you remove team members from the team gets disrupted because you've changed the work or the flow we do. We used to be 10 people, now we're 5, or we used to be 3 people, now we're 8. So what we need to do as a Scrum Master is once you join the team, first of all, you're going to speak to the PO, you're going to speak to the tech lead, you're going to speak to the manager, and bluntly ask them, give me, like, from layman terms, what are we doing here? And what are your pain points? So they're going to start explaining to you what we do. We're a cruise company, we manage, I don't know, 50 ships, blah, blah, blah. Or we're a pharmaceutical company and we have those manufacturers and we have those teams. So they're going to explain. So you're going to understand what does the team do, but also what are their pain points. Based on that as well, you're going to incorporate it in this team norming. The team norming is something that, like I said, you're building a board, like exactly the board that we're using for questions, but you're building multiple pieces, which is meeting etiquettes, communications, sizing and grooming, definition of ready, definition of done, and I've added offshore availability because we have team members that they're offshore. You're asking the team, first of all, just keep in mind, I don't try any of those cards except this card. So the team starts and looks at this board. I'm like, what do you mean by this? Like, I don't understand. What do you mean by meeting etiquette? So I add common time when I'm meeting, common time with a smile on your face. So people are like, oh, now I understand. So they're going to start adding, this is what I call team agreement. If somebody says, oh, everybody should participate, I'll be like, great, can you add it to the board? And somebody's like, no multitasking. I'll be like, okay, can you add it to the board? So you're facilitating a healthy conversation and you want to give birth to those cards on that board so it comes as a team agreement, right? So we've agreed as meeting etiquettes to come prepared, be on mute if you're not speaking. Also, we've agreed in communications, there's thousands of communications that we can use. Skype, Teams, I don't know, Microsoft, blah, blah, blah. There's so many means of Slack, there's so many teams or means of communication. So pretty much we've agreed that we're going to have pretty much like we're going to have a group in Microsoft Teams, we're going to have a group chat, we're going to do a CC distribution list. Whenever we're sending any correspondence to outside teams, we're going to keep the team in a CC so I understand everybody where they're at. pretty much our sprints are 2 weeks. What are grooming? So the product owner, before I joined this team, told me that this team struggles with grooming, and we do subtasks and we do hours. So I kind of walked the team through what is relative sizing, and they agreed that we're going to use story points and we're not going to use subtasks, and we're not going to use any hours. Coming to the point that actually brought me to here, which is definition of ready and definition of done. Definition of ready, the team has agreed that the story has been reviewed and sized by the team. The story must be reviewed written by the PO. Clear story has clear acceptance criteria. Story is pointed. So I'm going to say this link is in the class as well, and I believe it is in our team norming exercise, but this is something that we're sharing right now. Also, it has definition of ready, has clear acceptance criteria. Pretty much it has been groomed. The story, if there's tasks, we should add it. Should not be very large so we can complete it within a sprint. Definition of done, which brought us to here, is story has been developed, code reviewed, QA tested, merged to higher environment so we can test it, and then PO demoed and accepted by the PO. And then also I asked, because I have offshore availability, I asked them what is the latest time I can actually reach out to you and I'm not super rude after that. So they tell me, well, let's say the cutoff hour is 12 p.m. because after that, we're going to go to bed. So this is something that I wanted to share with the team. It's called a team norming or team agreement. This is something that you would do with every single team that you join newly. And this is something that if you get asked in an interview and say that this is something that you would do as a team agreement or team norming, trust me, this is what will separate you apart from most of the competition in the market. Any question on this? Any questions? Sounds lovely. Awesome. All right, back to you, Mohammed.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep,
Yes.
All right, cool. So we're moving this one here. And I think this is the next highest one. What is the difference between technical debt and a bug?
I can take that. So technical, let's talk about a bug first. A bug is something that so when we are in the loop of the story sitting in to do and then in progress and then in code review, if a story fails, which means that we found an issue with it, we send it back to development. So it stays within the sprint in the same cycle. So if it failed in QA, it's going to go back to ready for development and the story, and the testers will add their comments, and pretty much the developer will look at the comments. Okay, I understand what is the issue. I'm going to try to fix it, and it goes back to the same cycle. Okay, let's say that we finished the story and we finished the feature and we pushed it in production, or we pushed it to testing. Anyway, we pushed it to higher environment, right? And we closed the story and the sprint and we said, we're good. Now, a user found an issue with the same functionality that we've built 2 weeks ago. Okay, how are we gonna log this issue? We'll create a bug, and this bug will go to the backlog of that team. Usually it should go to the PO and the tech lead, and the PO will give it the priority, whether it's something really hot. It's a must go to the sprint now because our website is down, or it's something that we can fix next sprint. So that's a bug. Any questions on the bug? All right, technical debt. Technical debt is something that sometimes when we're developing, okay, you might not have all what you need to keep moving forward. Like, for example, I've worked with a project that we work with. I worked with Macy's. Macy's, it's a store. I don't know for people that they are from the same country. Macy's, it's a store, let's say, that sells, I don't know, sells everything, sells clothes, sells bedding, sells, I don't know, it's a department store, pretty much, huge store. So Macy's has gift cards and has loyalty cards as well. So those cards are, in actuality, so these cards, they give you like points and you can get discounts, but in actuality, those cards are actually Citibank cards. They're credit cards, actually. But if you look at it, it's just like a reward card. But in actuality, it's a credit card from Citibank, right? So we're developing the functionality so you can accumulate points and get actual money, right? But we need to integrate with Citibank, which what we call the payment gateway, which is the door to the account of Macy's, pretty much what we call payment gateway. So we need to have the key to this payment gateway so we can actually talk to the bank. Actually, our data flows back and forth to the bank. The bank told us that I'm not going to give you this key until one day before the project starts, okay? Because it is a secret key, right? It is the secret to the payment gateway for that bank, okay? So how are we going to develop? We're stuck now. We don't have the key, so we can't develop. Like if you don't have the I don't know, a door to a house and you're trying to build the whole house, how are you going to close the door, right? So we've decided it's exactly the methodology of the door. How are we going to close the door if we don't have, how are we going to secure the house if we don't have a door? What we did is we brought like a tarp and kind of like covered the door. That's what we did in development. We did something like called a muck service. We tripped the system pretty much. We did a muck response, which is whenever you knock this door, the bank will tell you, yes, come in. It's a mock service. It's actually, we trick the system and it's just like a one answer. It's a fake answer that we decided to make the system generate so we can develop on that base, right? So right now we put a piece, like I said, a tarp onto the door, and then we continue developing, okay? That's the technical debt. Why? Because once you finish the door and pretty much customers about to come and see the house, you have to remove that tarp and actually buy that fancy door that you were about to buy and put it and make the house pretty, right? So this is the technical debt. It's stuff that you have to move forward with and maybe use like a mock service or fake responses, right? That to keep moving forward. The more you accumulate more of those fake responses, the more you're creating more technical debt. Technical debt is something that you have created extra work for yourself, but only the reason is so you can move forward and come back to it when the time comes. The key is you don't create so much technical debt. The key is usually companies will have, I don't know, 2 to 3% of the work technical debt. You don't want more than that because right now you're creating so much work that unnecessarily works. So you only create technical debt if you really, really must have to, because you can't move forward. Does that make sense? All right, silence is allowed. Yes. Sounds good. We can move to the next one.
So so on the already answer that you already posted on the done section, on the definition of done section, please they should not delete it because some people want to still go over all of it again.
I'm not sure I understand the question. Can you say that?
I said on the questions that you posted and answered on the done section, on the definition of done section,
Yeah, they
I
never
said it
get
shouldn't.
deleted. They never get deleted. See, they are there. If you scroll
Okay.
down, there's hundreds of them. We don't delete them. You can go back and look at any question and drag it back into open if you want us to discuss it again.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, explain more about empirical process control. I honestly have no clue what empirical process control, but I know, I can talk about process control, but I want to make sure empirical process control. Because there's something called, I see. This is what we do actually. It's just a fancy word for it. So, okay. So it is a combination between inspect and adapt pretty much. It is, yeah. Empirical, if I Google what is empirical process control, that's what I get. I get backlog, you have a sprint retrospective, sprint planning, development, daily, and then end of the project. This is the processes itself. So empirical process control is what we do in Scrum, which is, I would say, the whole gist of Scrum is we analyze, plan, design, build, test, and deploy to production. This is the process that we go through pretty much, is analyze, which is the product owner in the background, plan, which is the whole team that's together, design, the whole team, build, test, and push to production as well. Another thing here, which is, yeah, it is inspect and adapt, where you want to be in the sweet spot where you're always inspecting, you're very transparent about what's happening, and you're adapting the change as well. So I would say it's a fancy word for what we do mainly, which is inspect and adapt to make sure that we're always improving. And there is mechanism for it, which is the daily stand-up, the grooming, the retro, and the planning, and then pretty much providing value at the end of the sprint. All right, back to you, Mohammed.
All right, the next question is there any programming language does a Scrum Master need to know? No, as of like work on it as a developer, no, you don't. But no, as of need to be aware of it, yes, you do. So for example, if they ask you, are you technical? You should never say no, but what you should say is, I am aware of all the languages out there. I have worked with Java, C++, C++, Android, iOS. I've worked with people who are working on these languages, and I have been their Scrum Master for a long time. So I can look at code, but I will not be the one who's doing the coding. That's my answer to that in an interview.
Yeah, I would echo Mohammed. If somebody answer, I'll be like, well, I am very comfortable working with all the languages out there. I've worked with team members that they work with Java, C++, iOS, Android. Also, I've worked with team members that they work on COBOL, which is the language for mainframe. Developers call that the dinosaur language, because there's not a lot of people write that. It's a very, very old language for mainframe computers, the computer that it is as big as maybe half of your house. A lot of companies especially that they have been existing for the past, I don't know, more than 50 years. Those are the companies that they have COBOL and mainframe. So you're very familiar working on all those languages, and you're very familiar working with team members working with those languages. And full stop there. Any questions?
So as far as working on the languages, like you doing the coding, no, you don't. But you need to be aware of what the gist of it is.
But I wouldn't say this in an interview, right? You're just going to say that you've worked with all these languages and you're very familiar working, and your team has been working with those languages, and you're going to put the cherry on top of the cake, which is you've even worked with teams that they work with COBOL, which is the mainframe languages. So you're just going to, they just want to hear, they know that you're not going to type code, but they just want to hear that you're comfortable saying those languages and you're comfortable working with those teams. So if you dive deeper and keep saying, I don't like, right, I've done this before and I failed so many interviews. Once I go to say, I don't write code per se, or I'm not technical, now you failed the interview, because a Scrum Master, kind of like a translation to it, is a technical project manager sometimes. So you're very, very technical. So never escape from technicality, pretty much.
All right. The next question we have, do we have any question on that first before we move on? Okay. The next question we have is how to calculate burn down chart with user story points or tasks. I have a company that I've worked with that they like to measure their burn down chart with tasks, and the tasks is measured with hours, which is like literally what Scrum tells you not to do. Okay. So what you really should be using the burn down chart with is the story points, but there are companies that will make you use it for tasks level, because they say, oh, well, a story could be an 8 points, but you know, there's only one task left in it, and there's like 15 tasks are done. So we want to capture the exact place that we're into that story. But to me, as a Scrum Master of the team, I don't care where the story is in the process. What I care about, is it in open status or in done status? Is it behind our backs, never gonna look at it again? Or is it something that we are still worrying about? So, personal opinion, it's going to be story points. But there are some companies will only allow you to pull the burn down chart with tasks and using hours. But the right way of doing it is story points. It really depends on how mature the company is. Any questions on this? I actually have fought it so many times that I don't want to use the burn down chart with hours, but because with tasks, but that's whatever. All right, next question we have, and then we have one more question, I think, and we will be at time almost. All right. Is it the Scrum Master that selects the combination of the Scrum members? Well, that's the Mohammed. Can you pull up the Excel sheet that you had the different positions in the team? Mohammed, are you there? I think he stepped away. Okay, so what I want to explain to you is the only thing that you have control over in the Scrum team, again, you're not a team manager, you're a team member, okay? The only thing that you can control in your Scrum team is yourself, okay? The product owner is put into the team by a product manager. The developers are put into your team by a dev manager. So really, you do not pick or choose who you want in your team. All you can give is a recommendation of what is a healthy team. Again, a Scrum team needs to be self-functional team, okay? They don't depend on outside resources. They're able to do it from A to Z within the team itself. They're able to go from open in dev, and they're able to do testing on it. If automation testing is required, they're able to do automation testing, all of that within the team. We don't want to do the development in one team and then we send it to another team to do testing. That's not self-functional team. So again, a Scrum team is a team that is able to do it all within the team itself without the help of outside resources. So does the Scrum Master have a power of saying, oh no, I don't want that team member, I want that team member? No, it's the dev manager who makes that choice on behalf of the team members.
Like Muhammad said, we can give recommendation what is the healthy team, or even what the team is saying, or what another dev lead saying. Oh, I think we need more expertise into blah blah blah. Somebody who knows front end more. So now I can speak actually. Based on our conversation with blah blah blah, I think the team thinks that we need more expertise on front end. And now you're just giving recommendations, or even thinking out loudly with the management so they can actually hear and actually make this reality.
Any questions on this one?
I have a question here, Mohammed.
Please go ahead.
Product manager, I just want to understand different roles here. So product manager is taking care of product owner, is like the one who is reporting to product manager, or the developers and everyone is reporting to him?
No, the product owner is reporting to the product manager, and that's it. The developer is reporting to developer manager. You, as a Scrum Master, reporting to delivery manager. Everybody's reporting to different manager. But the goal here, so each manager is making sure that their team is moved, like they have one-on-one with them. Hey, how are you doing? How is the team doing with you? So they're making sure that the health of this person as an individual is okay. But you as a Scrum Master, making sure that the health of the project, whatever we're committing to, and definitely the health of your team is okay as well. Does that make sense, Brigitte?
Yes, yeah, it makes sense. So when I have the question to the previous slide which you shared. So when you're saying the technical project manager or the Scrum Master, I had one conversation about like long time ago, and they were saying like when we are saying technical, that person should be able to help if someone gets stuck somewhere in the coding. Are you the one who can do that?
Well, if somebody gets stuck in the coding, that's why you have stand-up, right? Everybody gives in stand-up their updates. How are you doing today if you're stuck? And what are you going to be working on, right? So if you have a problem with coding, you're going to be saying, well, my update today is I'm working on this, but I'm facing an issue, blah, blah, blah. So me as a Scrum Master, I'll be like, okay, who from the team can help John on this? And you'll find Raj maybe like, okay, I can help on that. So your role is to make sure that everybody has something to help them. But you will never, ever, ever tell him, share the screen and let me help you. Maybe at the end of the stand-up, somebody would say, I'll help. And then you'll be like, okay, this is the 16th minute. Or sometimes we call it the parking lot, which is after the stand-up. And now I can tell the person that is stuck, now you have the screen, you can share it. And whoever is interested, please feel free to hang out. If you're not, our stand-up is over, feel free to drop. And now I can drop as well, and I can tell him, John, do you need me in the call? They're like, no, we're diving into the code. So instead of ending the meeting, I will leave the meeting and give the ownership of the meeting to somebody else, and I'll let the meeting going on so they can explain to each other and help each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. That's somewhat I answered the same thing, but the next follow-up question was, okay, so if the developer is saying there is a class or a method I am not like I need help with, so are you the one who will be able to help right there looking at the code?
No, you will actually bring it to the team that this person is stuck in blah, 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 who can help him, right? And you will not kind of like relax until this person has somebody who can help, whether it's going to be another team member, it could be another from another team completely, it could be his manager, but you're going to ask the question until you get an answer for that.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so
So
I just have to manipulate bring my question, like answer to the same place in different words. So
exactly.
I have one more thing. When I asked like, what is the maturity of the team? So they were like, can you just help us understand what do you mean by maturity of the team? So how can I just answer that question back to them?
When I say the maturity of the team, I'm going to tell them, gauge your team from 0 to 5. How agile are they? How self-dependent are they? How cross-functional are they? How pretty much flexible are they? Are they stable in delivery? So if you just say from 0 to 5, how agile are the team are, how responding to change, how pretty much transparent they are, what is the level of their dashboard. So you're gonna, if they really ask, you're gonna be like, give me a high level of, if you're understanding of how self-functioning is this team from 0 to 5.
Okay, got it. Makes sense. Yeah, thank you so much, Mohammed. Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome.
Okay, any questions on this one? Okay. The last question that we have today is it mandatory to set up daily, to stand up during the daily Scrum? So in today's world, we're all working from home, almost all of us. Previously, before COVID hit, we would have to go into the office. And in the office, it's one of my most important things is to ask the team members, obviously, if they're healthy and they're able to stand, is ask the team members to stand up during daily stand-up. One of the reasons is that we're trying to achieve the purpose of the meeting in less than 15 minutes. If you're standing while you're talking, it seems, and has been proven, that you get straight to the point rather than trying to talk while you're sitting down. You talk and you mumble a lot and you get distracted from the point that you're trying to make. So the reason why they're making you stand up is not because they hate you. You have to stand and look at the wall and you're punished. No, it's because efficiency in the meeting. Now, in today's world, if you're working remote, nobody's gonna make you open camera, for example, or nobody's gonna tell you, hey, you need to be standing during daily stand-up. That's not a thing. All you need to do is you need to be engaged in daily stand-up. When it's your turn, you need to answer the 3 questions, which is, what did I work on yesterday? What am I going to work on today? If I have any blockers. These are the 3 main questions that everybody in the room or in the meeting needs to answer. And the person who facilitates that is the Scrum Master.
Just to let you know, like when we were in the office and people like, do I have to stand up? We'd be like, no, you don't have to stand up. You can sit. But we advise people to stand up because there is kind of like a philosophy that if you're standing up, you're only gonna get to the point. You're not gonna just chat. But if you're sitting and you're like laying the chair, you could be like very relaxed and kind of start dreaming about the beach. But when you stand up, you're just straight to the point. Everybody gives their update in 30 seconds and then you move forward. If you're sitting, you could be like, oh, how are you doing today? And like, it's gonna be a longer conversation. Like
I want to give you guys a really quick example as well on this. A while back, I was reporting to a director of delivery, and I've been with the company for almost 6 months. And he brought me into one-on-one, and he told me, Mohammed, you've been doing amazing. All the teams that you have worked with, they have achieved the stability and they're doing great. I have one question for you. Are you comfortable? And I told him, well, I've been here for 6 months, and I feel like very comfortable in it right now. I feel like this is exactly where I need to be, and it feels good, and I kind of have it, set up in a nice way. So I'm comfortable. I'm very comfortable, actually. He said, okay, then we need to move you somewhere else. And I'm like, excuse me? He said, yeah, if you're comfortable, that means you're not growing. So I need you to be in a growing phase all the time. So when you're sitting down, you are comfortable and you start being lazy in work. But when you're standing up, especially in daily stand-up, and you need to achieve the purpose of the meeting in 15 minutes, then you will get to the point a lot quicker. and straight to what you need to be saying to these team members. So they get the update, they get the gist of your day yesterday and the gist of what your day today is going to look like. Okay, I think this is our last questions. Any question on this?
Yes.
Go ahead.
In a space where you're working, your team are working remotely, is it still okay for you to ask them to stand up if you doing a meeting like through a Zoom or something like that?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
Again, a Scrum Master should never come up to the team members as he's a micromanager.
Okay.
In terms of this card as well, standing up honestly really keeps you on point to speak only when needed and to kind of like cut to the chase. I have been standing for.
I was just gonna say, I can guarantee you,
year.
Mohammed is standing up right now.
I don't have a chair on my desk or my office, and I have like a standing desk that goes up and down. And yeah, I work 100% standing all the time because I feel. I don't know, to the point, not just, I don't want to be too comfortable, so meeting take longer. All right, team, I think we've reached to the end of the cards that we have. Please feel free to look at the cards that we have burned or add more cards next. I wish you a fantastic weekend. Please let us know if you need any help during the week. Our goal here is to make you a success, to enable you to have the knowledge to be a successful Scrum Master. Please, if you're stuck, reach out. Team members that they are in the market. Please, if you need help, reach out personally if you feel stuck. Again, recommendation is that you apply daily to 100 positions. I'm just going to relate to the team members on the call here. If you really apply super hard, you're going to get calls. And it's a fact. There's no deny. Mohammed and I, we actually started looking for new positions in the market ourselves, and we started getting calls. So it's a pulse test to the market. If you push, you're going to get calls. You push harder, you're going to get more calls. So please let us know if you need any help. And the team members that they just joined today, welcome again. Our role again is to make you successful. So please reach out with all the communication means that you have to make sure that you are successful. You are a Scrum Master now. So if you don't have something that you need, your role is to push to get it. So contact us to make sure that you have this, what we call dependency, to enable you to move forward. Once you finish the first piece, you're going to have another piece, which is the recording. Please, once you finish the first piece, reach out so we can let's say, give you access to the second piece as well. With that, again, thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the weekend and let us know if you need any help. Thank you all.
Mohammed, I have a quick question.
Sure. Merci, go for it.
Yes, I'm sorry that I'm not able to take the second interview today. So I'm hoping
Yeah,
that
I saw the email.
Okay.
I think we can stop recording, Mohammed.